Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris. I don't care if nobody laughed. That was comedy gold. I can't fuck this. It's so stupid. I just got back from watching Escape Room 2 titled Escape Room Tournament of Champions, and with this sequel, we follow our heroes from the first movie trying to go after the creator of the escape rooms only to find themselves in another puzzle with surviving members of other escape rooms, aka a Tournament of Champions. That's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This is a spoiler-free review, and I hope you haven't seen the trailer because it basically spoils the entire film. But even with that said, I was still very much looking forward to the sequel for Escape Room because I surprisingly found myself enjoying the first movie that came out. I remember that was a January horror release and I was fully expecting to end up hating that film just because most January horror movies suck. But I came out really admiring the movie. Sure, it had a crappy ending, but I thought the franchise had a lot of potential with the escape rooms being very inventive and some cool scenarios being thrown in there. Even felt like they added some money into it where it didn't look cheap because trust me, there are dozens of escape room horror movies that do not have the budget of this one. And then seeing the premise of this one that it would be all about surviving members of other escape rooms, I was like, all right, how could you screw this up, Ben? It's more or less the exact same movie as the first. I was really excited to find out more about this escape room world and see who is behind the trap and find out why they're doing this, what's their purpose, what do they look like, what's gonna happen, and in the end, you basically got the exact same movie you did the first time around. It's just people trapped in escape rooms, real fun creative stuff, and they don't stick the landing for the ending. And maybe that'll be good enough for a lot of people going into this because they don't expect a lot out of this franchise. If anything, the best way I can describe the escape room franchise is if you can't handle watching the Saw movies because they really glorify the gore and all the violent, intense sequences with those traps, then the escape room franchise is perfect for you because it has the exact same thrills of being stuck in a trap with deadly situations and things that can kill you, but they never go ahead and amplify the violence or blood. It's still a PG-13 movie. And that's where this film shines. I did find the escape rooms very fun and creative, and I found myself on the edge of my seat along with every clue going, oh god, get out of this room, oh, I don't want them to die. And that's really like the only big positives I have is the fact that they do throw in some money into these escape rooms, that they do get fun and creative, that even yourself watching it, you can know how to escape it ahead of the players. I can't tell you how many times in this movie I knew what the clue meant and what they were leading to, not even because I'm that smart, but some of the answers to these clues were kind of obvious, but I think for time constraints and setting up emotional suspense, our characters had to be like, oh, what does that mean? And it's like, it's pretty clear what that means. You kind of showed it off a second ago. I guess what just frustrates me about watching this is just I know there's potential for this to be really good if they just added in a stronger story and develop the characters a little better, because a lot of times they are just dead weight. People that are there to end up dying, but you never grow to really like them all that much. It's kind of obvious who will be the characters that'll die in the escape room because right when they step into it, out of nowhere, this character decides to tell you their entire life story and you're like, oh, that's kind of sweet. You had a mother that died, or you have a lost son. Man, that's horrible. Hope nothing bad happens to you in this escape room. So in that aspect, it is pretty predictable who ends up dying, or heck, how this movie itself will even end. That just made me think to myself, did I literally just end up watching the exact same movie? I will give them props for adding one cool detail in here that I think expands the lore of the escape rooms, but that one detail was not enough from what you were promising at the end of the other movie, where you were going to find out the secrets behind it. Along with that, even though I grew to like the two lead characters from the end of the first movie and they carry over here, their chemistry just really isn't there. And throughout the movie, they have this awkward friendship or maybe boyfriend-girlfriend type deal, and you just don't believe the chemistry is there, and it kind of hinders some things when dramatic stuff happens and the other person is worried for one another. So I was really hoping Escape Room 2 would be the thing to elevate the franchise and it continuing going, but right now I'm just sort of mildly interested, and I would possibly see a third one depending on what the plot is. So for Escape Room 2, I'm gonna give action 2.5 stars here. There isn't really like fight sequences or chases going down, but you are caught up in the moment of these escape rooms. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 1 star. There's not a lot of jokes here. The main lead guy does get a couple of one-liners, but it's nothing you'll really find hilarious. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. I was really intrigued with the whole notion of a tournament of champions, but since they use their characters more as dead bodies to throw off instead of actually developing them and making you care, or heck, even going further into the lore of Escape Room, they decided to just kind of give you the same movie with a bit of a different events. Horror in the film, I'll give it 2 stars too, because even though it is PG-13, they do a good good job of scaring you in these situations, and you put yourself in their shoes of like, man, would I be able to make it out of this? That would be a horrible way to die. And suspense film, I will give 3.5 stars to. That's where the movie shines the best, is when they're in a cool escape room. And even if you don't care too much about these characters, the way they handle the flow of an escape room, the fact that you're about to die, the time constraint, and that you have to really keep going, I think is what always will make me want to come back and see this franchise because of how creative and cool those escape rooms are. Casual fans, I'll give it a B-. Cinephiles, I'll give it a C-. And critically, I'll give it an F. For Escape Room 2, since this is a movie you can only watch right now in theaters, I say you wait to rent it.
That'll do, Donkey. That'll do.
I literally think this movie is on par with the first one because it feels almost identical, just with like a few different things happening. So if you like the first movie, you'll probably end up liking this, but if you wanted a little more out of it, or for this franchise to be elevated, you're not gonna get that. Let me know what you guys thought about Escape Room 2 if you got around to seeing it. Do you like this franchise? Would you like to see more of these movies, or do you feel like they've gone to the peak of what they can do with this? Anything, everything, be sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.